My brother had sugar issues when we were growing up. My parents did everything to try and save him from himself, including ignoring me and my sister to dedicate themselves to him. I guess it worked. They got him into rehab and he's clean and sober now. That's great for him. I, however, have a shattered relationship with my parents. He stole them from me. He stole them from Sis. He also stole thousands of dollars worth of my belongings. His wife recently passed away and he isn't doing well. Our parents passed away during the global issue. He contacted me and asked if I would take his son if he died. I said no. Our sister refuses to speak with him, so I'm his only choice, really. He's begging me so his son won't end up in foster care. So I said I would take his son if he paid me back for everything he ever stole from me. I told him only the monetary stuff would count, which he cannot afford to do. So my 1999 Jeep that I paid myself and he stole and crashed. And that my parents begged me not to report stolen so he wouldn't go to jail. My entire Uncanny X-Men comic collection, that sort of thing. I said he could never pay me back our parents missing my wedding because they were dealing with his BS. My wife says that I'm being too harsh and that an innocent child is involved. I can't look at that kid without thinking of everything his father did to me. I don't think I'd provide a good home for him. He's probably better off in foster care. Am I the idiot for telling my brother to pay me back everything he stole from me if he needs a new father for his kid? Edit, I have no relationship with my nephew. I have bought him a Christmas gift or two. Same for his birthdays. That's it. And my parents' inheritance? My sister and I paid for their funerals. There was nothing left after a lifetime of cleaning up after him. Not the idiot. You should definitely not take custody of his child when you know you can't separate your animosity and resentment for your brother from having a relationship with your nephew. You are not a monster. You're a human being with feelings. I do question why you even answered the phone or agreed to talk to him. All it does is bring back the anger and resentment you feel. The screw around phase is over and now it's finding out time. He wants you to commit so he can dump the kid on you and live a commitment-free life with no guilt. He essentially ruined your life. He stole from you. He took your relationship with your parents. I mean, he even caused them to miss your wedding. He can't treat you that horribly for your entire life and then expect you to do something that big for him. That's simply not the way the world works. I think your brother needs a reality check. And remind your wife that an innocent child, you, was screwed over by your toxic brother. Listen, no one can take your parents. The parents selfishly prioritize the brother over their other children. As simple as that. Also, the man lost his wife and both of his parents within a couple of years of each other. Of course he isn't doing well and thinking of what would happen if his kid lost his other parent. It's a normal thing to think about and plan for. Wait up, why isn't your brother stepping up for his kid after his wife passed away? Is he implying he can't manage and wants to dump the kid on your doorstep? Backstory aside, no one should be pressured into parenthood. The commitment he's asking you to make, fostering or adopting a child, is a huge ask. It's a massive, tasking, time-consuming, expensive responsibility. It's not some tiny ask like a ride somewhere. I do feel for the child, though. He's going through something unimaginably difficult. The death of one parent, about to lose another, it sounds like, then the uncertainty of what will happen to him next. My mom had a health scare, so I've been visiting her since last week. Since my teen son Gene has been staying home due to a sprained ankle, I let him babysit his younger brothers, young grammar school, kindergartner and toddler, while I was gone. He's done it before and usually enjoys it, and I rarely ever let him babysit for more than a few hours, so I'm not parenting him before you guys come at me in the comments. This was an unusual and unexpected circumstance. It would never be this long if I could plan beforehand. I checked in daily with Gene to ensure things were going well, and he always assured me things were fine. But when I called him a couple of hours before I was due to be home, he didn't answer. I texted him as well, but no response. I was a bit worried, but since I called him earlier that day and things seemed fine, I assumed he put the younger kids down for a nap and had his phone on silencer or something. But when I got in, I first noticed that the front door was unlocked and no one was downstairs. I almost go full panic mode, but when I get upstairs, I find all of my sons are in Gene's bedroom, he's fallen asleep and the younger kids are just running around playing with his things. I wake him up and ask him why the front door's unlocked. He explained that they were getting too rowdy in the house, so he was trying to play catch with them in the backyard, and he must have forgotten to lock the door when they came back in because he was chasing them around, trying to keep them from throwing the ball at the windows. I asked him why he didn't at least check before going to sleep, and he said he'd meant to just sit down for a few minutes and fell asleep on accident. I was a bit skeptical because my youngest kids usually are really well behaved. Still, regardless, I told him keeping the front door locked is basic security and he should have checked at least once before going upstairs, so I'm grounding him for 3 days. He was angry, said I was overreacting and that he can't do anything right in my book. That's not true. I'm just particularly picky when it comes to my kids' safety, like any parent. Am I the idiot for grounding him? I know he needs some type of punishment, but I can still see where grounding might have been too extreme. I'm not sure I read this right. You left an injured teen home alone with 3 small kids for several days. Is that correct? I know you said this was an unusual circumstance, but regardless, you left an injured child to take care for 3 other children for days. So after he took on that huge responsibility, you came home and immediately grounded him for one honest mistake. Wow, you are the idiot, and a huge one. I hope he refuses to do this kind of favor for you ever again. I like how OP thinks they're getting ahead of the parenting comments by saying he likes it. Jesus, a teen with a sprained ankle cannot properly babysit 3 children under 8 for a week. And for all we know, he actually can and did a great job. But instead of being rewarded for handling such a hard task, while injured, he gets grounded for not locking the front door. Complete craziness. What a major idiot. He's right, and I doubt he'll do you any favours like babysitting again, nor should he when your attitude is so crappy and your focus is only on his mistake. He did you a favour in an emergency, and instead of thanking him for stepping up and taking care of the little kids, you freak out and ground him for a mistake that caused 0 harm. Your 4 kids were safe, fed, and secure for a week. You owe him an apology and ungrounding ASAP. I worry about my kids forgetting to lock the door, so, as a responsible adult, I got a doorknob that locks automatically after 1 minute, so in case they do forget, the door remembers and locks on its own. I, 30 female, gave birth to our daughter 4 weeks ago and it was a traumatic delivery. I'm partially bedridden due to complications, and due to this I was given food stamps by the state. We also have 3 other kids, so it's a pretty significant amount. I know that probably makes me sound like a scumbag. Trust me, I don't want to be on state help, but regardless, right now, I am. Because I can't drive currently, my husband does all the shopping, and we have this app on our phone that applies coupons offered by the actual food stamp card, so we save a lot of money, and the food stamps go very far. Without them, we'd be screwed. Well, I checked the bank account yesterday because we have a bill coming up. My husband gets $20 hourly bi-weekly pay. Generally, he brings home around $1,300 a paycheck, so $2,600 to $2,800 a month, and at least 65% of that goes directly toward rent. He just got paid last Wednesday, and he's already down to $320. When I went through all the transactions, I found that he's spending $20 to $50 3 times a day at gas stations. No, we are not in a state with gambling in gas stations. I confronted him on it, and he told me he was buying food. This really rubbed me the wrong way. I asked him why he isn't using the food stamp card because gas stations are EBT approved, and he said, I don't want to look like a scumbag showing up in a company truck and buying food with food stamps. I told him that maybe he should suck up his damn pride because we have food stamps for a reason. He's blowing through hundreds of dollars on food and leaving us in the hole when it comes to actual cash. He says I'm an idiot for expecting him to do something that he's very uncomfortable with and makes him feel like a dirtbag. Am I wrong? He has the ability to bring home lunch, but given that he's so tired in the mornings because our newborn is cluster feeding and up every 2 or 3 hours, he's been forgetting to bring his lunch and just rushed out to work because he's running late. Not the idiot. The gas station is probably one of the most expensive places to buy food. He should be going someplace like Walmart, with a grocery list of ingredients for planned-out meals, where he'll be more or less anonymous among the large volume of shoppers. He's jeopardizing your family's financial well-being because of his pride and lack of planning. How the heck is he spending up to $150 a day on food at a gas station? Point out that he's not making $150 a day, so to spend that on food, he might as well quit his job. Also, point out that spending $150 on food from a gas station makes him look like more of a scumbag. Also, point out that not providing for his family is far more scumbag. Also point out that spending $150 on gas station food is the reason you need food stamps. You are not a scumbag for accepting assistance. That's what it's there for. You need to eat, feed your kids and stay alive. You're doing nothing wrong. Your husband sure has, though. He needs to get a handle on his delicate, fragile petunia of an ego and feed his damn family using the necessary assistance and perhaps practice being a stronger person. He truly sounds oversensitive and should learn to control his emotions, or at least not let them control him. OP, he is not buying food. Keep in mind they sell other stuff, cigs and alcohol at gas stations. That amount sounds like he's buying alcohol, tobacco or something else. This would make more sense than being scared to pull out a little card that no one else in line will probably even see. I was invited to my college friend's wedding, and on the invite he asked for $300 as the wedding gift as they won't be accepting non-cash contributions. A couple of friends and I wanted to bring our partners to the wedding. My friend said that if guests were to bring a +1, the +1 would have to pay a $300 attendance fee to cover their seat as they weren't initially invited. My friend said that the wedding cost them $300 per person, so it'd be fair for the +1 to pay for their attendance. After looking into the wedding venue, I found their pricing and it was $250 per person, so $50 less per person taking everything into account. I feel obligated to attend because my friend is insisting that I attend his wedding since it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and I should be there to support him and his bride. We thought our partners would be invited anyway when we first heard about the news because the groom knows them. I was going to give extra to help pay for the seat if I did bring my partner because that's how it is in some cultures, but I was confused about why the price was different. Am I the idiot if I asked my friend about the wedding guest attendance fee? I wouldn't ask, but then I just wouldn't bother to go and spend the $600 on a posh weekend away instead. Who sends invites for a wedding where the guests are expected to pay for it? Is this normal? You are not the idiot. Your friend is a tacky idiot. You don't charge your guest to come to your wedding. If you can't afford it without doing that, you need to scale it back to something you actually can afford. Attendance fee. Who does he think he is? Taylor Swift? I bet you'd have more fun at her concert than at this so-called friend's wedding. Once in a lifetime. Dude, I'm European. I'd been to about 20 weddings by the time I turned 6, and there's nothing that special about them. I'd nope right out of that. If attendance fees become a thing, I won't ever attend another wedding. Why do you think the groom is so insistent about people attending? It's because for every person who declines, they have an extra $250. Also, don't gain $50 per guest. So rude. The standard etiquette, at least where I'm from, is that the guests are socially expected to give a wedding present, which can be cash, but it's not like a charge of a specific amount to enter the venue. To be honest, unless I was really close to this person, I wouldn't attend if that's how transactional they want to make the wedding. With the way they set it up, it sounds more like a profit-seeking business activity rather than a wedding. I, female 30, have worked in my current role for over a year and I absolutely love it. The only thing is that until now I've been the only female in the entire office, not just my team, as in every single colleague is a man. I don't mind, I like my co-workers, and unlike other workplaces, I've never had a single issue with an inappropriate comment or something similar. Recently, a new hire started. She's 25 or 30, works outside of my team but is part of a team I work with regularly, so we've interacted a couple of times. Then we chatted during a company dinner, and she now seeks me out during lunch. I have no issue with this, she's friendly and finds me more approachable than her team members. So far the conversations have all been general chit-chat, nothing too serious, but also not super work-focused as I don't want to talk shop at lunch. Last week, as usual, she found me at my desk, asking if I wanted to grab something to eat. She then suggested we go to a sit-down place rather than bring food back to the office. Fine by me. At the cafe, she straight up asked me who the issue men were at work. I was confused, so she clarified, asking who was creepy and who should be avoided. I was a bit surprised, but honestly told her that everyone has always been friendly and kind, and that I haven't experienced anything like that at this company. She seemed like she didn't believe me and kept pressing, but I kept saying more of the same. As I was packing up on Friday, the new hire asked if we could walk to the elevator together. During the trip down, she said she was very disappointed that I wasn't sharing names with her so she could protect herself from creeps. She said now she didn't know who to avoid, all because I wasn't a girl's girl. I tried to tell her again that it wasn't like that, but she wouldn't have it, and said that I was more interested in protecting the boys' club than being friends. Now I'm not sure if something has happened, but am I the idiot for the way I handled it? Maybe she expected something different. You don't have any problem men, but you do have a problem woman. Should the men be warned? Oh boy, she's one of those types. She's looking to start trouble. Not the idiot. Look, if you were lying to her or refusing to answer her question because you'd chosen predators over a potential victim, you would be an idiot. Although even then, not because you're a woman, that behavior is equally idiotish coming from a man. But you weren't, and she's an idiot for accusing you of being a liar. You could ask her if she's having a problem with anyone. That's not being a girl's girl. That's looking out for the welfare of a colleague. Gender doesn't need to come into it. You may see inappropriate comments just as jokes and aren't offended when this other woman is. Everyone has different standards of what's acceptable. Would you want to support any other, by default male colleague if they were having issues with anyone? This is what my thoughts are. Someone may have said something to her, or she's getting vibes from someone and wants to check with the only other woman if it's a known problem or if she might be overreacting. It's possible, even normal, for one person to not have an issue with someone and for someone else to have an entirely different experience with that one person. But a new co-worker is in the wrong for accusing OP of lying. I think everyone's the idiot here.